not be fooled. The Online Safety Act is just the UK government's surveillance Trojan horse.
Did you know this is illegal in the United Kingdom? Did you know in the UK you can be investigated for hurting someone's feelings online? Not a joke, as the Online Safety Act is already in law.
Keir Starmer has announced anyone who successfully circumvents the new Online Safety Act age verification system, where you have to send a picture of your face and a copy of your ID to a dodgy third party, will have to wear a sign around their neck that says Gooner, as punishment to show.
Welcome back to MOOMOO Rants. Feeling like your privacy's being stripped away? Well, it is. And the UK's new Online Safety Act is the culprit. Kiss your privacy goodbye, because it's disappearing fast. Let's hear how our fellow Brits are reacting to this shocking move.
Do not be fooled. The Online Safety Act is just the UK government's surveillance Trojan horse. By being disguised as a measure meant to protect children from dangerous sites and people, it's actually because they should have put away government money with your data and censoring anything that doesn't fit it out. It's a power grab. It's an authoritarian. It's It's an influence personally good biometric data and personal intelligence of citizens. Well, they different touch their paper. Pretty contradictive, Peter May, considering that you voted against the National Grooming Act inquiry, and also seemed pretty close with Ivor Kaplan, the ex-Labour MP, who got peace done just a few months ago. And we all know what I mean by peace. But now, on a serious note, I need to ask everyone a question. In a time where our country is a threat from every single angle, what will you do to help save it before it's too late? Are you spreading the message? Are you waking your friends and family up to the reality of what's actually happening? Or will you run and hide or fly off to another country in the face of adversity? Because I know what side I'm on. I'm on the side of freedom, common sense, patriotism, community, and everything in between. Now more than ever, we need to show the government what we actually think of them. And in the meantime,
to show other people that you don't care about protecting children. The new Online Safety Act came into force recently and has been widely condemned for its heavy-handed approach of restricting the internet, including dangerous sites such as Spotify and Wikipedia. With hundreds of thousands of people signing a petition and voicing their discomfort with the new law, the government has decided to step in and make some unusual punishments for those who are avoiding complying with the new law. These include wearing a sign that says Gooner on it for your first offence, followed by a large fine and a 12-month internet ban for a second offence, and finally prison time for repeat offenders. Labour MP Peter Kyle has defended the decision taken by Keir Starmer, saying, "Anyone who listens to Spotify is a nonce. There, I said it. We cannot protect children in this country unless we restrict everyone's access to Wikipedia in case they try and learn about sex, and we just can't have that. Gooner signs will have to start being pulled from as soon as next week."
That's because days after the UK's Online Safety Act is absolutely yeah. And so many things on Friday, on Friday, and it's Experts say some VPNs, especially free ones, can have pretty big security risks, and that they can expose users to attacks. Ofcom, which regulates the UK's media, says platforms are required to introduce highly effective age check methods, and they must not host, share, or promote content that encourages people to use VPNs to get around age checks, which the government has also told the BBC
This online safety bill thing is driving me nuts, because it's like, did the government not realise that the reason we don't want to give our data to third parties, right, is because we don't trust them. We don't trust the government, we don't trust third parties with our data, because they're constantly getting hacked. And our data's constantly getting leaked. And for some people, that's super dangerous. Like, there was this guy on the news and he was like, "I don't see why you guys don't want to keep children safe." And it's like, this isn't about trying to keep children safe. If you wanted to keep children safe, you would tell people to parent them better. Like, I'm sorry, but children shouldn't have unlimited access to the friggin' internet. Like, if you have a population of people who are raising kids, right, that are growing up on screens on the internet, That is the problem. And those children will find a way around it, okay, if they have parents that are not paying any attention to what they are doing on their mobile phones. This is ridiculous.
But without the Online Safety Act, how do we protect the children? Talk to your kids. If you're not mature enough to have a difficult conversation with your kids, then you shouldn't have kids.
The Online Safety Act, which requires you to have ID to access certain sites on the internet, has been implemented in the UK, and some of the main safety guardrails are meant to take into effect in the 3 and they're also looking to ban VPNs. It is one very accessible browser that allows people to still access the sites. But a lot of the VPNs, especially the free ones, live online. I don't suggest you download like I suggest you use and this goes out to anyone who is also in this because they start implementing things like this in the US and in Europe and here. But essentially one has all against. What does that mean? So essentially, Reddit can't reliably block your IP because they don't technically understand or know where the packet they're sending is going to. So let's say you have 3 nodes that are in between your source node, which is your host computer, and your server. If your 3rd node is not within the UK or wherever these regulations are being held, then you will likely be able to access that site because that site is sending a packet to an IP that is not in a restricted area. At least that's kind of my understanding of what's going on. Anyone correct me if I'm wrong. Now, if age restrictions are implemented like this globally, then there's no way around this. Or if Reddit or other social media sites require ID to access their site everywhere in the world. Now, all this could be completely thrown out if sites just decide to no longer accept requests from the Tor network. So take this with a grain of salt.
I want to talk about the UK's Online Safety Act. I want to talk about where it came from. The core design of this act and the duty of care model did not come from Parliament or public debates. It came from Carnegie UK. Carnegie is a name you might already be familiar with if you've been following my robber baron videos for the last 3 days. This is William Perrin and he works for Carnegie UK. And this is Lorna Woods. She is a legal professor at the University of Essex and the front-facing architect of the duty of care model. William Perrin is a senior Carnegie UK associate and a former Tony Blair advisor. He actually helped set up Ofcom and co-designed the UK government's first IT strategy. Carnegie UK Trust was set up in 1913 by Andrew Carnegie. In my previous video, I talked about how these robber barons like Rockefeller and Carnegie set up these trusts as legal structures that enable them to shield their monopoly wealth from antitrust laws and federal taxes. A trust is a legal arrangement that allows the wealthy to separate themselves from their assets so that they don't pay tax. Trust dynasties like Carnegie's can last forever. They can also be structured to generate investment income for the trust, and that's tax-free as well. Around 1913, the same billionaires that use these cutthroat and ruthless methods to acquire their fortunes start to put it into these charitable trusts and foundations. They did not suddenly have a change in personality and come into the light. They use these trusts to fund universities and politics. The public sees these as institutional pride. Carnegie is a prestigious name. You might see a hospital named after him and think philanthropist, but you never think monopolist or labor extractor. That gives them moral shielding. You think the robber baron is the good guy. Except number one, they use trusts to avoid tax, and number two, The image shielding allows them way too much influence over public discussion. They have created a system where it is the wealthiest, most criminally insane people who are deciding on policy and where tax money goes. Carnegie's UK endowment has compounded over the last 111 years. Despite 2 world wars and periodic market crashes, audited accounts show that the endowment assets grew over 24% just between 2022 and 2024. Investment returns typically cover less than half of their outgoings, and 95% of the total assets sit in a discretionary portfolio run by external investment managers. The individual holdings are not disclosed. The organisation has a team of just 15 people, and in 2024, it spent £1.37 million on charitable activities. The largest thematic budgets: online harms, online safety.